Welcome to Marathon, Bungie's brand new game. If you don't know who Bungie is, they created Halo and Destiny, and they are one of the greatest studios that we know of. And today we're going to be diving deep into their new project called Marathon. Funny enough, this is an almost 30-year-old series. They already had 3 games, and we're going to talk about that a little later. But today we got some very good talking about this brand new game and a lot of key information that's coming out. I'm so excited. I spent literally 4 days nonstop researching this just to make this video for you guys. So make sure you leave a like so that we can build up this video and get it out there to the world on YouTube. Okay, well, you're watching the actual visuals for the game. This is an extraction shooter, and you're probably wondering, I don't really like to play extraction shooters. Maybe you don't, and maybe you're like me. You didn't play all of the extraction shooters, and you enjoyed them a bit on and off, but they weren't your full-time game, right? You preferred Destiny, Halo, or whichever Bungie game that they've had before that. And even the original Marathon was not necessarily an extraction shooter, but this game is. And we're going to get deep into a lot of different things about the game, but I wanted to start off by taking you down the rabbit hole that made me want to also get into it. So you're looking at the ARG. All right, there's been a lot of online reality warping things that you're watching, and this is all information that's come out right now, like literally still happening as we go. Bungie decides to bring us a very cool scenario with a lot of amazing things, and I'm super excited to kind of dive into it and give you guys a breakdown. All right, if you want to learn about the game's lore, we have that as well. This is going to be a deep dive, so you're going to get pretty much everything that you can think of today with this information that I'm going to be offering. So lock in and enjoy. Again, the ARG is what we're going to focus on first. So they put a lot of cryptic information, and they have websites like you're seeing here, plus other websites that I will display as well and kind of break down a lot of this information for you guys to know. Some of this stuff you won't understand. Like, for example, this website here, I can click on different things and I'll talk about what I'm thinking and feeling a little later. But these are the type of things that this ARG has been offering. All right, they have like security clearance, and this is all within the universe of the game. So I do want to dive into what the universe is talking about and all of that good stuff as I break this stuff down and go down a rabbit hole. Marathon has a trilogy of games, and it is basically you as a soldier going in as a Marine battling, and you're basically fighting off aliens, and they're all trying to invade. And there's a deeper story that I'm going to get into a little bit and discuss it. But all of the video that you're watching now is what we unlocked as a community. So I want to thank anybody and everybody that was hanging out in the different Discords that we had going on. And it was so much fun. I've helped uncover some of these myself, and I just really excited about what's possible with this ARG system that they're doing now. What does it mean? There's probably going to be a beta, which I'm going to cover and make sure we do content for, as long as I get access. Hey, Bungie, send me a code. But those will get all of that. But they've been teasing these characters, for example, different classes. And then the universe itself has so much going on, okay? So think about a universe where Earth needed to colonize another planet, which that's kind of what we're trying to do, right? With Mars as we speak. Well, they did it in this video games universe. And basically, Mars ended up poor. And everybody that lived in Mars was suffering, going through a lot of struggles. And Earth tried to help, but the way the system worked is that they had a unique setup where they couldn't really help out. So to kind of go through it all, basically they had a giant asteroid that basically rotated Earth and Mars. It took probably like 15 years or something for them to fix this asteroid that allowed them into adding supplies for Mars. So Mars ended up becoming poor. They went through a lot of suffering, and it was very tough. And this is all how the original story took place. And this is not what's happening in this game. I'm assuming this is going to be a brand new storyline. I'll explain how it all makes sense, and this isn't no spoilers because it's going to be deep. Before I get into that, we do want to showcase this one more time. You're looking at the actual weapons that were posted, the pictures and the names. Okay, understand, I don't know confirmation. Of course, these names can change. Bully, hardline, long shot, all of the names can always change. I'm assuming Bungie's ready. If they're putting this information out, it's because they were ready to have that information public. So that's why I'm sharing it. I mean, we don't know. Again, I don't want to speak like if these are all finalized versions. I'm not here to promote the game, guys. I'm just having fun. This ARG, by the way. But to bring it back to the story, so the poverty and the crime started picking up in Mars because Earth decided that they didn't want to help. And it wasn't that they couldn't help, it's that they depended on an asteroid that rotated around Mars and Earth. And that took a lot of time to get there. The asteroid ended up getting destroyed and they had to repair it, which caused a lot of conflicts. And this is where the story picks up and a lot of different things end up happening, right? They decided to try and make a new plan, and they wanted to use the moon, small moon, to create a colony ship. That plan took 64 years from what my research. 64 years to send help to do this and to make it happen. Okay. And I have a lot of information in here and things I can show you. This right here is what I'm talking about when I talk about the asteroids, and the way they used way to supply Mars was using the asteroid, emptying it out, and then sending supplies to Mars from Earth. Okay. Just imagine the ridiculousness if this was real and how that would work. Okay. But then when it all started falling apart, they couldn't repair it. It took 15 years to repair, and Earth couldn't even afford to do that because, I mean, it had, all their resources had to go to that. They barely could survive on themselves. It was a lot of back and forth drama, thinking like, oh, you're not helping us, you don't care about us. So this specific one, which was the main one, was considered a symbol of oppression. All right. And that is what is called marathon. So being able to send these ships, to send supplies, to send helps and support is what the marathon was called, at least somewhat. And this is where Earth, trying to do what's right, they sent these people to Mars and then they have them stranded. So guys, don't go to Mars, okay? Not right now, maybe 1,000 years from now. If you watch this video in 1,000 years, then God bless you. But let's wait and not have this video game come true, because we don't need the marathon happening, which I'm going to explain a little deeper and take you down the rabbit hole of the story. And so what happens in this storyline is, guess what? When Earth gets back to Mars and all of that, guess who invades? Aliens. So a bunch of different aliens in group take out a lot of the colonizers, right? But they send defenders, and they're basically battle droids, aka like the Marines that you kind of see with the Halo series, right? That's kind of like the spiritual successor to it. And again, I'm trying to be very vague because I don't want to spoil too much, because we don't know what the new modern day story is. This is all stuff that I'm talking about from the past, but I want to bring it up because it is a part of the present. We'll get into that in a minute. But what happened was they would take these battle droids, basically dead people who got reanimated into droids, and they would send them in, and that's the main character of the games for the marathon. Okay? And now you have the player, the main character, but guess what? You are not even the main plot and story of the game. Instead, they had 3 other AI intelligence that kind of took over and started doing their thing. And Leela, Tucko, and Durando Durandal being the main one, he actually had a name as one of the games, Marathon Durandal. All right. And that is the main plot, which is the artificial intelligence. And Durandal was super key. He kind of went psychotic, I would say, and betrayed them in a way. Well, in a lot of ways. But he left and he was preparing for the end of the universe. He hijacked advanced alien ships and did all this crazy stuff. And there's a whole plot, and I mean like some serious heavy duty plot that was insane, where you go into different versions of Earth, different versions of planets, and it's basically you replaying the games over and over, certain levels, but different iterations of it. So think about the multiverse and all that madness. It's kind of in that vein. Okay, that's what the original Marathon put us through on the last iteration. And the lore goes so deep. There's things like, you know, the dead and old gods and how they ran things and how things got to where it was, which is super interesting, but basically takes us into the lore of the experience with this game. So you as the main character, again, are a battle droid who was brought back from the dead, animated to fight. And then you're trying to kill off all these aliens and you're trying to help out, right? That's the point of the regular base of the game, okay? And now we're going to get into the current state and the new game and where does this all fit together. And I hope you guys are following along. I try to keep it very simple. And again, if you're a hardcore Marathon guy, feel free to leave some comments and help some people out with this. But in this new game, we don't know the exact time of when it all takes place. All right. We've been breaking this information down and kind of going through the stories, and the developers most likely will break it down. In my estimation, I'm assuming this is 40 plus years after part 2. Part 2 gets a little chaotic. Even part 3 is beyond chaotic. But basically, you are a runner, a cyborg mercenary. All right, a cyborg mercenary, aka, you know what that is. And by the way, everything you're seeing in this background is all the ARG that we uncovered in the last 2 days. So I'll just keep showing it to you. You can pause it, rewind it. I don't want to put the soundtrack because I don't want you guys to copyright me. So I'm trying to keep that as safe as possible, guys. But the principle here is still the same. Okay, we're gonna get into the modern day. In the new game that you're going to be playing story-wise, all right, you're gonna play as a runner, and it's an extraction shooter. Your objective is most likely to investigate the colonies. And this is kind of crazy, right? You're gonna be able to get loot, you're gonna be able to get gear, you're gonna get artifacts that you can upgrade. This is a fact, all right? We know this because the devs talked about that part of the story. So it's already there, and we're gonna watch the new trailer to kind of just talk about that just a little bit and to give you guys a preview of what you can expect. So just imagine you're going into whatever planet and you're a runner who's a mercenary for hire, who's there to extract some stuff. Now, you can't keep everything. From the conversations that I've seen and heard, you're not going to be able to keep gear that you find, but you can keep the perks, which are going to be permanent. So you'll be able to upgrade your character, his abilities, all of this good stuff, but you're going to go in there, you know, slowly upgrading other aspects of yourself as you go. On top of that, I'm sure there's going to be like another in-game loot system that's going to be very, very interesting when it does get, you know, revealed. But the core essence is that. And now the way that this fits in with the old games, we don't know exactly, but there is a whole storyline about transferring your consciousness, and we've seen it within the older games and the lore kind of talking about that. And so if you die, you'll be able to come back and then continue on your journey. Are you going to be playing in, you know, alternative universes and different versions of yourself and others that you'll be facing? The question remains. There's too many questions, okay? And the main thing, as I said, they kind of still bringing back everything that they did. You see right here, this is the stuff I explained with the previous lore story. This is still represented. So that means it's still happening, or at least it happened before, and it's still a part of the storyline and experience. So you can't just assume it's over and that the previous story is done. Will they reboot the whole series and then give us some kind of new version of this with the lore being intact, and then just saying this is a reboot, but we're going to remake everything and basically retcon stuff by saying that it's a multiverse? Or are they going to continue the story from the stuff that I talked about without going into detail? Of course, each character and all the plots, they start changing things, and it's a lot of deep lore, guys. But those are the questions that I have, right? It is super early in the morning. I've basically woke up so early just to break this down. I've been on the websites. I've been trying to get the community on the Discord to continue to build up and to have fun with this system and all of the stuff that we discovered. And I cannot wait. And I hope you guys also are excited for this. Again, this is Bungie, all right? I think Bungie should have everybody's attention and respect. It gave us Halo, the greatest Xbox series, in my opinion. There hasn't been a better Xbox series. I mean, I love Gears of War, I love all these other games, but it's nothing like Halo, the originals. And then you have Destiny, which I consider one of the greatest looter shooters of all time. The best raids in any game ever, in my opinion. That's how I personally feel. But I don't doubt them. And I'm just gonna take a moment. Let's just do this, guys. Let's take a moment about this art right here, okay? Everything that they did with this art, it is so spectacular. It feels and looks so good. It's pleasing. It is very unique in its own fashion, with some fashion, some style, but still very, very focused in on the universe and giving you that essence, which I love. And I think is perfect from them. And again, there's different classes. We've talked about things like that, and we're going to have deep dives in each class and break down what exactly you should be expecting from them. But again, these reveals of the little details, maybe you find something new and something different that I didn't point out. There's a lot of stuff I didn't point out because I was giving you guys some of the lore in this background footage that we got. Okay, so shout out to Jay for that, and shout out to everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave a like if this was informative, exciting, or even if it was confusing. Leave a like. I'll appreciate y'all. I'll see you guys on the next one. It should be popping up. Peace.